Hey guys! So first things first, this is officially my 100th YouTube video, which feels so surreal. It almost doesn't feel like that's possible, that I've made that many videos. But I suppose doing a video for every day of Inktober definitely shot those numbers up there. When I realized that this was going to be my 100th YouTube video, I sort of put a lot of pressure on myself. And I always put a lot of pressure on myself, but this was worse than normal. I wanted to do something big and something special and something to really commemorate the idea that I had been doing this for 100 videos. And I had tried to do a thing over on Instagram where I would draw followers or something like that, but nobody really interacted with that idea. So I decided, well, I just bought this gold/copper ink and I've been trying to figure out a way to use it. So let's just do that. So that's what I'm working on in today's piece. It's pretty small. It's a 6x9 painting. And this is the first time I've really done watercolor on watercolor paper as opposed to my sketchbook in a little while. It's probably been a couple of months. As a result of this, I'm a little bit out of practice. I'm still trying to get back into it, but it was a lot of fun to work on, and a lot of the techniques I used in Inktober with ink washes really translated well, so I wasn't too out of practice, which was nice. However, speaking of Inktober, I did try to apply some of what I learned during that challenge and working solely in black and white to this piece. And the main thing that I really tried to focus in on were the tones and the lights and darks. And I think I managed to do a pretty okay job. As I mentioned several times throughout that challenge, part of the difficulty comes when color is introduced, because it can be difficult to tell which tones are which. However, I decided to go with a sort of mid-tone for the skin. I did a dark hair color and a pretty light background, although if I had the chance to do it over, I think I would make the background even lighter than it is. But in the end, I'm very happy with the way this piece turns out. When I was working on the sketch, I was worried. It wasn't really playing nicely, and I had ended up drawing the head far too big for the body. But I scanned it in, took it into Photoshop, altered it quite drastically, and ended up getting it to a place where I was happy with it. I think there are probably still a few little anatomy things that I need to practice and get better at, but for the most part, I do think it looks better than the initial sketch did, which is good. However, sort of coming back to the idea of this being my 100th video, I wanted to talk a little bit about not only how I've evolved as an artist, but the things that I've been doing and the steps that I've been taking to try to make people's experiences with my art more enjoyable. And this piece is a very good example of that, because over on Instagram, when I posted it, I put a summary underneath it. But instead of doing a explanation of what was going through my mind when I was creating the piece, I decided to do more of a story. And I actually did this with the previous post as well. I write fiction. I've always been a fiction writer. I wrote tons of stories when I was a kid, but even moving forward from that, I've been writing full-length novel-style fiction since I was 13 years old. So I have a lot of experience with fiction, and part of the world of Immensum, if you are new to this channel, is that all of the art pieces are interconnected. They're supposed to play with each other, and all of them have stories and take place at some point on some planet within this universe that is the world of Immensum. And as I've started to move forward with my artwork and become a better artist, and I've been more consistent on things like Instagram and YouTube and Twitter, I felt as though that idea was getting a little bit lost. Sure, I put it in my descriptions and my bio that everything goes together, but not everybody is gonna go to my YouTube bio and read that. And so I wanted to find a way to incorporate the fiction into the pieces themselves. Just because that is something that I'm so passionate about, and part of the reason that I create artwork in the first place. It's meant to accompany the fiction, because as much as I love creating artwork, I also really love writing. And I've been working on multiple writing projects, novellas, and fiction series, and there's a lot of pressure that I put on myself to be perfect, and I'm always intimidated by the idea of submitting to publishers, even though I've heard countless stories of best-selling authors that were rejected 30 times before they were accepted. And I know that I'm no different, but it's still really scary to put yourself out there when you know that people are going to reject you. And I think this is something that people also experience with artwork. I personally am not as intimidated by the internet because, yes, people can say things on the internet that are mean, but there are also people that say a lot of good things. And that's not that the publishing world won't say good things or try to be encouraging in some way, but it feels like a completely different beast. However, I do recommend that if you are intimidated by social media and you feel as though you're too scared to start posting your artwork or start posting anything that you do online, that you try to realize that there are going to undoubtedly be benefits to posting your artwork online. I've been consistently posting artwork for a little over a year now. It's probably been 15 months or so, I would say, if I had to pick a date off the top of my head. And it's not all about the followers. People get very obsessed with the idea of followers and subscribers on YouTube, but it's more than that, for me anyways. As I mentioned, this is my 100th YouTube video, and I don't really have that many subscribers. I'm so grateful to the 50 people that are following me as of this recording, because that's insane to me that people would like to even hear my rambly rantings about art and what I'm doing. So that in and of itself is mind-blowing to me. So thank you, each and every person that is subscribed to this channel. It means so much to me. But it's not about that. It's about the benefits that you get, specifically in confidence levels. For me, it's been a lot of confidence. I feel as though I have grown a lot as an artist because, sure, people will say mean things. And sometimes people aren't necessarily being mean, but they'll be very blunt. And sometimes it's a little unwarranted. But you can learn from those things. And you learn to have a thicker skin, and you learn a lot of times from their comments about what you could maybe improve on or start doing better, even if they are a little bit blunt. So in the end, I think it all comes down to confidence building, and I'm so grateful, again, to everyone who has watched my videos, much less subscribed. And I will continue to make YouTube videos even if every single person subscribed to me unsubscribed, because I really do enjoy it. And I think that's the takeaway here. The takeaway is to do things because you love them, not because you want other people to love them. And that's what I've been trying to do over on Instagram by incorporating the fiction writing and the stories into my artwork. And I think it took a year of experimenting and trying to figure out what I was doing as an artist to figure that out. But I think I'm finally in a place where I'm happy, and hopefully that will put me in a place where I can continue improving in a way that is enjoyable to me. I'm sorry if that was a little all over the place. I should probably start making some bullet points or something so I know what to talk about and it's a little more organized, but I hope you enjoyed it just the same. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe if you want, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.